Welcome back to the show, everybody. On video chat, we have Shaun Latham, aka the $20 chef from Barstool Sports at barstoolsports.com. Shaun, welcome to the show, man.
Buddy, what's going on? I think I'm going to sit down here. This is a
That's
more
cool.
comfortable
Yeah.
spot.
Hey, whatever works.
I'm just chilling out, man. What's going on? It's on the Stoner Jesus. Thanks for having me on the Stoner Jesus show. I appreciate that.
Hell yeah. It's every kid's dream. And here you are.
Hey, this is it. I was in High Times magazine. I was in the High Times website, and
Nice.
I'm on this show.
I actually wrote blogs for hightimes.com like 10 or 11 years ago. It's been a long time.
Yeah, yeah. You've been in the game for a hot minute.
Hell yeah. Been remember starting MySpace 14 years ago, and the rest is history.
That's wild. That's where it all started. Is that somebody? My first guy that goes, "Hey, have you seen MySpace?"
Yeah.
They're like, "What's that, dude?" They had the phone, obviously, his computer. Well, let's go see what's going on in there.
I remember for years being like, oh, that sounds stupid, MySpace. And then I got on there and I was like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah, yep. I started to know code and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
To like make it decorated and get it rocking and rolling.
Hell yeah. Those were the
And
days.
Facebook stole that all away from us.
Yeah.
Lost the whole skill set.
Yeah, I switched over to Twitter in 2009 because I could tell that MySpace was kind of dying and Twitter looked cool. And it was cool. It's not as cool anymore, but, everything goes through
Yeah, it's a lot
changes.
more critical. It's still cool. It's cool and critical.
Yeah, there's a lot more garbage than it used to be. Seemed like the ratio to cool to garbage was much better back in 2011, 2012, but now it's almost too much sometimes.
Yeah, I wasn't good at it enough. Comedian Ty Rivera showed me how to get involved in the Twitter game.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he was
awesome.
pretty savvy with it out the gate. So I went to him.
Oh yeah, it is still better than pretty much anything else. I mean, I'm trying Instagram and that kind of stuff, but Twitter's where obviously where my big following is, and obviously where I spend the most of the time. No, hopefully it stays that way for as long as it can. Shaun, obviously the last 6 months, have been fucking nuts everywhere. What have the last 6.5, 7 months been like for you? How's everybody around you? Everybody healthy and all that stuff? Did anybody end up with COVID or anything like that?
No, no. I had a couple buddies get in a different state, but my no family's good. Everybody's good. I just instead of going to the office and then going to film, we just worked out of home. As far as writing episodes, writing the material, working on the recipes, shit like that. And then I just been just hammering episodes. That's it.
Oh yeah,
The only thing that changed is I don't go into the office like I'll go in there now sometime a couple days a week, like for the last month, but uh, I just do it. I just work from home.
yeah. What happened? What came first? Was it Barstool or was it $20 Chef? How did you end up at Barstool doing the show?
You know, uh, I was just out of Indy doing stand up, just chilling, man, just headlining these clubs, enjoying life. Not you don't get paid that much on a papered room, but it was really really fun, and I was just getting to do a lot of comedy. And then I started hanging out. And then Pat McAfee, I started working with him through comedy in Indy, and then that rolled into Barstool. Working with Pat, being in Barstool, and then my show had a bunch of stuff already lined up in New York as far as sales and things. So I just rolled off on my own, man. Me and a few other people from Pat's office, and then just been in New York for it's almost 2 years already. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is nuts. So how'd you get the idea for actually doing $20 Chef?
I just was cooking on Snapchat. It was like when
Oh yeah,
Snapchat started really getting everybody started doing it. So I started trying to figure it out. What could I do to be funny on it or whatever. And that's what I would do. And people kind of liked it. So whenever it was come time to like, hey, well, you want to do some kind of video content? I was like, well, I'll try a cooking show. I do it on my Snapchat, and it seems to be, people seem to be enjoying it. Like that's all I got right now is like on the idea train for TV shows.
yeah. Yeah, obviously, for
And
those
it
who don't
worked out.
know, those who don't know what Barstool Sports is, it's more than just the name suggests. It's a massive content creation company that does all kinds of stuff. What's been your experience over the last couple years at Barstool?
You know what it is? No matter what the underlying thing is, when you're lucky enough to be a content person, there is that you're your own. Like as a content person, you're your own. Like it's like you're your own. You're in charge of your own shit. And you get 100% creative control. So you either have to. That's why there's so much good video content. So people are just like you get to just have ideas and just roll with it, dude. And then hopefully it gets some sort of gets kind of bought or something like that, or like some sort of brand wants to pick up on the idea and then they buy episodes. That's the whole thing is
Mm.
just trying to sell content overall to. But it's just great to that you don't have meetings telling you what to do with your content. You don't have like no one's pulling you over like you can't do this or that. I mean, as long as the show's selling and you're not it's creative and they let you do your thing, man. And that's my favorite part. No one butting in, not even a hair. Just like
Wow.
we have meetings, we talk about things, we tweak things, but
Yeah.
not and it's just the best part, man. Just being able to just rock my content, however I'm feeling that day, whatever's going on, whatever I feel like making, whatever I feel like talking about. I can just do it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Also, people who watch Barstool notice that there's a lot of extracurricular activities, some of which you've been involved in, especially the boxing. What's that experience been like?
Yeah, they have Rough and Rowdy. The next one's
Mm,
October 23rd, by the way.
nice.
Um,
You're gonna be
it's just
involved in
people
that?
just want to. What's that?
Are you gonna be involved in that night, or any fighting or anything?
No, no, no.
No.
I fought twice. I'm
Yeah.
41, so and I haven't been an
So am
athlete
I.
my whole life. I didn't spend the last 20 years of my adulthood and in some sort of form exercising. So it was really fun, just learning the train. I started training, fighting in Indianapolis with Chris Lytle, Matt Mitrione, some other great fighters out of there, Andrew Holbrook. Um, and I'll tell you what, it was just a place they just invited me to go, and it was like these legends all down there just sparring and training and working and getting better in this gym and IBG. And I just couldn't I always dreamed it. Like I love fighting so much, but I was like, I'm never. I don't know. It's so hard. It used to just seem so hard to just something you just walk into and start doing. But I got lucky because they're my friends and they invited me, and they all used to roll in the mornings at like 9 a.m. So as a comedian, I didn't have anything going on at 9 a.m. So I just started going down there. So that kind of steamrolled in one day. I told Dave, I guess I kind of like a offhand conversation that yeah, I'd fight in Rough and Rowdy, not even knowing what it was really. And then he just announced it that I was fighting. So I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm fighting, you know.
There you go.
But it's a great thing. It's really it's exciting to watch the events. There's just so many different people from so many just ready to just the antics, and it's actually real fighting. And yeah, some fights suck and some fights are amazing. People get knocked out, big ass strong dudes. I mean, it's a really fun event, and for the little small price that it costs, it's just a great night of action. Dude, Rough and Rowdy is the best, man. Fighting in two of them, I lost the first one by this split decision. And then I won the second one by a knockout in the first round. But also, I know I ain't doing shit. Like, I know that I'm no real fighter. It's just like an amateur thing, and I got, and it was just really fun. And so it was like, it's like skydiving or some shit like that. It's like
Yeah,
sometimes you just want to try some wild shit.
absolutely. So obviously this show, we talk a lot about cannabis. It's kind of my whole gimmick here, my whole thing.
I
What's
mean,
your
Stoner
life?
Jesus that's a wham, dude. I mean, you have Lev Parnas's attorney following you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've
Uh,
noticed that some pretty cool people have followed me on Twitter. I've noticed that Tommy Chong has seen a couple of my shows on Periscope, which is pretty fucking awesome. Shit like that
yeah,
keeps me going.
that is pretty cool, man. That's really cool.
But what's your relationship with cannabis like? Like, when was the first time you smoked? Stuff like that.
I was a kind of a late bloomer. My mom was kind of strict, and I played a lot of sports and shit, and I just didn't want to get in trouble, man. So, but then that kind of you just kind of start figuring things out. You start smoking. I was probably like I think 17, 18. 17. I mean, I tried it a few times at 16, but then I got a job at a sheriff's department, so I had to quit because I was working in a prison and a drug test. And then but then after that, it was kind of like bar, restaurants, comedy life. So I smoked weed the entire time, just normal, just a lot of joints after. I went through a strong phase of trying to smoke weed, and when I used to hang out with Edwin San Juan and Felipe Esparza in L.A. Those guys are Those guys are amazing comedians, and they could smoke weed and go right on stage, dude. And just crush. But my energy level would change so much. And then I would get up there, and then the light seemed different, and I could just never do it. I always my energy, my beats per minute was always thrown off. So
Yeah.
I just stopped, smoking before stage. But afterwards, obviously ripping a few bowls, whatever you got to do.
Oh yeah.
But overall, I mean, I'm pretty casual. I don't smoke a ton, but I'm taking bowl rips. You know what I mean? You don't have to go through much weed, just ripping bowls here and there.
Absolutely. You're preaching to the choir, man.
You could really it could last. So younger me wouldn't understand it as much. Like, dude, you don't need
Yeah.
nearly that much, you maniac. But I guess
Oh
what are
yeah, I
you gonna
remember the
do?
days of smoking 4 or 5 blunts, just like a couple people, and just really a lot of unnecessary shit. It seemed cool at the time, but man, imagine having all that weed right now, all the weed you wasted when you were younger.
I know. We were trying to feel cool and shit. A whole bunch of people in the room rolling big ass blunts.
Hmm.
Everybody's got a big bong or something. The first time you had to get on the one where you had to stand up on something, the first time that
Yeah.
dude busted out the gravity bong, you're like, what's going on over here, bro?
Oh yeah. So if I ask you about the highest you've ever been, is there like a specific instance or event that comes to mind?
Yeah, I was Joe Diaz I did a gig with Uncle Joey Dada, well, he last minute said, hey, they need somebody, and I went or something like that. Yeah, I went over there, and I was there with Felipe Esparza, I believe, also, and it was a weed shop. This was like 2008, maybe, or nine, the latest, but definitely I think 2008. And this weed shop was having like they had bands and comedy, but then everybody was just stoned. It was a joint rolling, no, it was a joint smoking contest. They had a big old tub of joints, and you get one when you go. You have a bracelet when you go in. You get a joint, and you just go. And everybody has their own. And then every time you bring back a roach, you get a mark, right? So everybody's in there just rolling their own J's, getting lit, trying to win because whoever smoked the most won the prize or whatever. And everybody's in there just going to work, dude. I get on stage, and then some dude. It's everybody completely different crowd. I mean, like compared to like an alcohol comedy club,
Yeah.
and then some guy went into like convulsion. Something happened. And the ambulance had to come. So I'm just on stage. I had to just stop. I sat down and waited, like on the stage for them to carry this dude out, and then and then and then I just went back into it. Just sitting there. It was so awkward. But I had some, and then they gave me some red velvet weed cake, and it was like the whole event, in some place in Hollywood, on Hollywood Boulevard. And I remember that was it. I had never been that lit. I'm not even sure to this day it's even hit that level. I was taking the train home. I mean, I was in a tunnel on the LA, the red line that goes from Hollywood to downtown, and that was definitely the most lit I ever was at that at the joint smoking contest or whatever the fuck with a 5 foot tub of perfectly rolled joint.
Maybe that's
I
something you
forgot
can
the name
pitch
of
at
the
the
place. It was so
next
long
Barstool
ago.
creative meeting. The Barstool joint smoking competition.
Yeah, I don't think that's probably going to fly. That's illegal and federally, and then now we're sports book. So
Yeah.
things are changing.
Maybe not for too much longer, but yeah, it's
Well, yeah,
definitely
hopefully. I mean, I don't know how that would work. I mean, that's obviously some wild shit that Steve even think about, but it's way above my pay grade. But you know, either way, I can't. You can't do it. I can't do content like we can't do it. Weed content.
yeah.
That's you used to be able to get away with some of it, but definitely not now. I've gotten away with some things over the last 3 years. Like not gotten away, but it's like they just don't. They're just like, all right, if it definitely can't be sponsored stuff either. I learned.
Yeah.
Okay, I was in a demolition derby and I had the 420 car, just being just being goofball about it, and it was I messed. We had a. I should have did that. I could have gotten so much better, so much, so much. I should have just did a basic shit, nothing like not a weed car, but it just felt funny.
Yeah.
And man, it was funny. And I just went, dude, demolition derbies are out of control, man. That's the scariest shit ever.
Yeah, I remember going to some in my my younger days around here. It's pretty cool shit to go to. Absolutely cool
Yeah,
shit to watch.
driving in one of those was absolute chaos. It's what like whatever movies they are, like whenever a movie people are just all bets are off, people trying to get out of town or whatever, and people, I mean, like absolute bet. I mean, that's the feeling. It was the most chaotic shit in I've ever. I was so glad I got crashed out early. Oh man, shit
Mhm.
was wild.
So what's the future look like for you? Like if this COVID shit backs off a little bit, you can get back in the clubs, do some more stand up. What do you think about the future now?
Yeah, I'm gonna continue to just try to keep my show, fun. People get people laughing still, keep it kind of fresh in some manner. I'm always trying to. That's the main thing is just always keeping my show just fresh and just keep it funny and lighthearted and somewhat educational. Obviously, I'm not a real chef. I don't have real training. I'm just kind of learning along the way with everybody else, except for I'm the one on this camera.
Yeah.
But that's mainly, I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait for comedy to get back to normal. It's not how much longer that's going to be, but I do. I definitely miss ripping, 6 sets over a weekend, dude. Just getting like 6 hours of stage time in or 3 hours. That just feels so good. I'm really miss that. But until further notice, I'm just going to keep running the material I write just in my show.
Hell yeah. It's a great thing about technology and the internet, especially in a time like this. You got a place to put all that creativity and not just have to have it bottled up and wait for some day when you're allowed to let it loose.
Yeah.
Shaun, I want to thank you for being on the show. Shaun Latham, at Shaun Latham on Twitter, $20 Chef, of course, YouTube, barstoolsports.com. Great talking with you, man.
Hey, thanks for having me on your show, buddy.
No problem. Anytime you want to come on, you got anything to promote, anything to talk about, let us know, man. We'll have you back on.
All right. I appreciate you.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Have a good night.
Later.